I mentioned at the beginning of the previous video that statistics is in some sense the study of the representation of data, and so in that vein, one of the ideas is that sometimes it's better to represent data as a frequency chart instead of a list of numbers. So for instance, suppose that you had a set of data that was like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 7, 7. Right? And you don't need to write that down. I'm just kind of like writing this out for you so you can see it. We've got a set of data here, but there's a sense in which I could probably write this faster if I were to just write down what the data was and what the frequency of that data was in a chart or in a table. Right? So for instance, when x is 1, the frequency was 3. When x is 2, the frequency was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. When x was 3, the frequency was 2. Frequency is just referring to how many times it shows up. When x was 4, there was one of them. When x was 5, there was one of them. If you wanted to, you could put that when x was 6, there were 0 of them, but it's not really necessary. We can just put our final one here, that when x was 7, the frequency was 2. Right. So understand, when they give you a frequency chart, they're simply saying, hey, there was probably a lot of data and we didn't want to list it all out. Instead, we just wrote down what the data points were and then how many times each of them happened. Right? When you've got a frequency chart, you can still talk about mean, median, and mode. We just need to kind of discuss how we're going to do that. And that's what the two examples I have here are about. So the first example, really simple. I'm giving you a frequency chart and then I'm asking you to just find the mean, median, and mode of the data. Right? Let's start with, I'm actually going to do these backwards because that's sort of the order of difficulty. The mode is the easiest thing to figure out, right? So first, what is the mode of this data? Well, the mode is the thing that happened most often. Well, fortunately, in a frequency chart, that number is kind of just staring at you, right? Right here, we find out that something happened 10 times, which was more than any other thing. Right, so what was it that happened 10 times? 2 happened 10 times, which means the mode of this data is 2. Right? Then next up in order of difficulty, so slightly more difficult to figure out, is what the median is. Okay? So the median, remember, is supposed to be the middle number, right? So I guess the first thing that I would ask you is, how many total numbers were there here? All right, what was the total number of numbers in this data set? And I mean, pause the video and think about that for 20 seconds if you haven't already figured it out. We should be able to figure out the total number by adding up all the frequencies, right? There were 4 of them here, 10 more here, 2 more here, 3 more here, 1 more here. So if I add all these things up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, looks like this is 20. So there were a total of 20 data points, right? So if I've got numbers going from 1 to 20, like I've got my first number, my second number, all the way up to my 20th number, where will the median be? Won't the median be right in between the 10th and the 11th data points? So now we just have to ask ourselves, where are the 10th and 11th data points? Well, if we put these things in order, the first 4 numbers would be here. Then we would have the 5th number, 6th number, 7th number, 8th number, 9th number, 10th number, 11th number. Those numbers are all going to be in this range, and so the median is also going to be 2. I hope that made sense. Like the sense of it is, you can sort of imagine with these frequencies you've got here, the first number is going to be here, the second number is going to be here, the third number is here, the fourth number is here, then you're going to have the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th numbers here, 15th and 16th here, 17, 18, 19 here, and 20 here. So for the median we wanted between the 10th and 11th terms, those were both 2s. And so we know that that's what our median is. Okay? The last thing we need to compute is the mean, right? So for computing the mean, we know the way that we're supposed to do mean is we are supposed to add up all of our numbers and divide by the total number of numbers, right? I'm going to modify that by a little bit here, and this is, I think, the thing you need to pay the most attention to, so please catch this formula here, right? I could do this by adding up 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I mean, I could add them all up like that, but the quicker way to do it, if you think about it, instead of doing 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, let's just do 1 times the number of times that it happened. So I'm just going to do, and I suppose I can move this up a little bit, I'm going to do 1 times the 4 times that it happened. That's the same as doing 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Then I'm going to do plus 2 times the number of times that happened, which again is the same as doing 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 10 times, right? And I'll continue this on. I'll do plus 3 times the 2 times it happened, plus 4 times the 3 times that happened, plus 5 times the 1 time that happened. And this will all be divided by the total number of times this happened. In other words, the sum of all the frequencies. 4 plus 10 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1. And I know we already know that that's 20, but in terms of a formula, your numerator is going to be the number times frequency plus number times frequency. It's going to be the sum of the data times frequency, and the bottom is just the sum of the frequencies. Okay. So now if I simplify this, I'm going to have 4 plus 20, 6, 12, 5, all over 20. And let's see if I combine this stuff. These two things make 10. These two things make 17. 10 and 20 is 30. So this looks like 47 over 20. And, you know, it's not a nice, neat whole number, but it is our mean. The average of this data was 47 over 20. And I feel like a lot of us might be like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to add up 20 numbers. Sure, you're not going to add up 20 numbers. But if they give you a frequency chart like this, you don't have to add up 20 numbers. You can sort of use a shortcut to find that mean. Okay? I have one more example for us that I think is sort of a more interesting one. IB does this a lot. They'll give you a thing and they'll say, find the value of k such that blah, 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 blah. Right? So in this problem, you're asked to find the value of the constant k such that the mean of this following data set is, and I just realized I'm missing a number, the mean is supposed to be 3. Okay? So I showed you in the previous problem how to find the mean of a data set, so I'd say follow that formula. If you follow the method I provided in the last page for finding the mean, I don't think you'll have any trouble with this one, so try it out on your own. So hopefully you tried it out. If my memory serves me, it's 7. Let's find out. For the mean, it's supposed to be 3 is equal to data times frequency plus data times frequency plus data times frequency. It's just going to be this all the way across. Data times frequency, I ran out of space, plus data times frequency. All divided by the sum of the frequencies. So I'm looking at this as 1 plus 8, so that's basically 9 plus k. So I'm going to multiply that 9 plus k over to the other side. 27 plus 3k is equal to 1 plus 2k plus 9 plus 12 plus 12. 27 plus 3k is, let's see here, 10, looks like 34 plus 2k. So then k equals 7, just as I suspected from the beginning. Great, so k, the frequency of that 2 term, is 7. Now, as a follow-up question, the problem could ask you, okay, great, now that you know this, what is the mode? Which I think is a really, really good question. I wasn't expecting to ask that question, but I'm going to go with it now. Actually, the mode is a silly question. The mode is really easy. That one's just 2, because, hey, look, 2 just happened 7 times. The more interesting question is, what is the median? And that's a question I'd really like you to process on your own. So pause the video, think through that. Alright, so the important thing to recognize here is how many total terms are there, right? If we add up all these things, especially now that we know this is 7, if we add this up, there are 16 total terms, right? So if we have an even number of terms, remember the median is supposed to be sort of halfway in between the 2 middle terms, so the median will be between the 8th and 9th terms. Okay, so what are the 8th and 9th terms? Well, you've got the first term here, then you've got the 2nd through the 8th terms here. Here you'll have the 9th through the 11th terms, and I can stop right there. I can tell that the 8th and 9th terms will be 2 and 3, which means the median is supposed to be 2.5. Okay. That's all I have for you for examples in this video. So good luck with the assignment, or I think there's going to be one more short video after this.